Years ago, it was pretty common that we would get the question, why do you focus on software? We don't get that question so much these days. I think the world's figured out that software is a pretty special asset class as you think about types of companies. And there are a few reasons for it. Notably, software companies have a high propensity for recurring revenue, meaning that the revenue I end one year with, I kind of start expecting most of that to return the next year. That's particularly true in the software as a service world, so-called SaaS companies, where literally, if you paid $100 last year, you have one choice, and really only one choice if you want to use that product. Keep paying $100 this year. If you want to churn, fine. But most of our SaaS investments have very high retention rates. So there's a degree of predictability inherent in software companies because of the nature of recurring revenue. That's one. Two, gross profits. Software companies, unlike, say, making a computer, software companies have very, very high profits. There's no fixed asset to build. You're delivering a stream of zeros and ones that your marginal cost to produce is precisely zero. Now, you might have some kind of distribution cost through Amazon Web Services or some other platform that's hosting, but you're not producing a physical thing. If you're making mattresses, you're producing a physical thing. When you're making software, you're pushing the next copy of zeros and ones to a customer. So by having very high gross profit margins and very high recurring revenue, you can actually have a pretty narrow sales and marketing cost. Maybe not when you're growing 70%, but certainly as growth approaches 25-ish%, sales and marketing can be a pretty small percent of revenue. And R&D and G&A, well, at some point when you're spending $100 million or some big number in R&D and G&A, they don't scale with revenue anymore. And what you're left with is a really profitable business. That is why software is so exciting. Now, those of us that invest earlier in the trajectory might be investing with the belief that someday it will be a 40% profit margin candidate or something to that effect. But the intrinsic potential for software is very high profit. And that is something we first saw way back in the mid-90s, long before recurring revenue, long before SaaS recurring revenue. And today, the world has really been paying attention, and I don't think there are any secrets anymore. Software is amongst the best asset classes to invest in because of predictability and because of profit streams.